Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the EVE Online market. And let's start with some good news. It's December 22nd, so it looks like the world didn't end on December 21st. And we've got a lot more EVE ahead of us, so that's pretty awesome. I hope everyone is enjoying the gifts they're getting from CCP. I made a short video about it, but in the meantime I have been spending some ISK buying some extra stuff. It's not here, it's in Dodixie on my other character, but sit down. I can take a quick look at those ships, because I bought all the special edition ones, at least the new ones, so the gold magnet, stuff like that is not really available. But the inner zone shipping Imicus, I think it's the Sarum Magnet, and the new Heron, Vesta Heron. This one is still going for around 30 million. I bought all of them for around 30 million, but it does look like, for instance, the Sarum Magnet dropped to below 20, and the Imicus is still around 21 million ISK. So not a great deal, but I did want to buy all of them just to have them. I do like to have some of these special edition ships. It's always fun to have those in your hangar, for me personally. Anyways, moving on to the market itself, we'll start out as always with the minerals. So titanium prices somewhere around 6 ISK. As you can see, the chart has finally been cleaned up, and this is the 1 year chart. And it's still hovering just above 6 ISK, pretty stable, I'd say, since September 1st. Not a lot to report there. Pyrite is still on the rise, so it's going above 14 ISK, where it's been hanging around 13 for most of the time. Let's have a quick look at the actual prices in JITA. 14.11 for the sellers, 14.04 for the buyers, so it's risen above 14 ISK for Pyrite, pretty interesting. Mexalon prices then just around 60 ISK, pretty much as always. I expect, yeah, that's definitely very flat around 60 ISK, and it's been doing that for even longer than titanium has been constant since around July. Let's have a look then at some Tech 1 ships. Here is the Drake, which knew a small dip in September, but it's now back up to a normal level of around 52 million for the sellers, which is actually even higher than last week, so they're slowly rising back in price. And let's have a look at Talos, which has dropped a little bit. 88 million for the sellers, 82 million for the buyers, so that should be down a bit. Yep, it's at the tail end. Maybe it's more visible on the 3-month chart, but you can clearly see a small drop forming here on the 5-day moving average, and even the 20-day moving average is moving down slightly as well, which is interesting, because that does mean that I'm not making a lot of money on producing Tech 1 ships at the moment. I do think that the culprits are the high-end minerals, especially Noxium. That price has risen quite a lot, and man, it seems to be quite vulnerable to speculation, because a chart like that is not really normal for a mineral. But yeah, Noxium, that's at 800 ISK, that's pretty high. Let's have a look at Zydrine. It's also known a rise, not as dramatic, but that same sharp spike there just before May. And let's have a quick look. Anything else left? Isogen maybe, also on the rise. So yeah, some of those rare minerals are indeed rising in price and cutting away all the margins in production. And I do think, because we have very little margin on the Tech 1 ships, that this means that people are producing a lot of them and seriously outbidding each other. So there's fierce competition in the selling of Tech 1 ships, and there are higher prices of some of the minerals, meaning that margins on productions are extremely thin. I'll move on to Tech 2s, and as always I'll take a look at the Guardian. which is still dropping. This is an unusual chart for the Tech2. If you can see, before that we have two spikes where the 5-day moving average spiked up and then went back down below the 20-day moving average. Right now it looks like there's less volatility for the Guardian market, and they're sort of following each other a little bit more closely at the moment. So stuff seems to be a little bit more constant. 125.5 for the sellers, maybe 126, 127 for some of the next orders, and then 122. So that does mean 3 to 5 million ISK margin, which is not a lot for the Guardian. So that's not the one I would choose to trade. Maybe I'll have a quick look at some of the other logistics. Cruisers. Let's have a look at the Basilisk chart. That's a lot more constant. Galente Dioneros chart. Oh, this is of course the 1 month chart, so maybe not the one I want to see. But I might have an explanation. The Scimitar chart as well. Everything seems to be moving down a little bit at the end, and this could be due to the changes to frigates and cruisers, meaning that logistics frigates might have something to do with the slowing down of the variations in the Tech2 logistics, because right now there are Tech 1 possibilities for logistic ships. So that might be the reason why this Tech2 market seems to be slowing down in its volatility. So yeah, that's maybe a bit of a bummer for traders because it's less trade worthy, but alright, that's the way it's looking to me. Let's move on to the melted nano ribbons. Someone suggested I check those as well to get a feeling for the Tech 3 market. Interestingly enough, it's known the same downtrend as the Tengu, which we've seen over the last few weeks and months, but right now you can see a pretty serious spike here on the 5-day moving average, back up to 5.6 million when it went down to around 4.6 million. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see if this translates in the same for the Tengu. Yep, you can also see that small spike right there. So even above 180 million, I would have expected the bottom to be close to 180 million, so that might be around right. And then let's have a look at the Loki. Not as pronounced, but on the 5-day moving average you can also see a small rise up, although it's already over for the Loki. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to follow the melted nano ribbons a little bit more closely for the Tech 3 market, and it's going to be interesting to see if this rise is going to continue or not, and what might be behind that. Quick look at the Galente fuel blocks, still very low, and no sign of it moving up or down anymore at this point, and pretty much the same thing for technetium. Yep, so as I've said a lot of times before, unless we see some serious changes announced by CCP that involve either technetium or post fuels, I don't think we'll see those move quite soon. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go over these rather quickly, and I think I've covered most of the interesting stuff at this point. I might just have a quick look at the Maelstrom, which is a very popular battleship, Tech 1 battleship. Small rise in price actually. That's 217, 208 for the buyers. So not a lot of margin, but a small rising in the price is visible here at the tail end. So this might be some adjustments to the new mineral prices, which are slowly rising on some of the high-end ones. And of course you would expect this to show up first in the bigger ships that need more stuff in order to be produced, like a Maelstrom battleship. So okay, we'll end up with the Plex. Interesting, very interesting. I'm seeing a small downward movement right there at the end. Let's have a look at the 3-month chart. Pretty constant on the 3-month chart, but that 5-day moving average is showing a small downward inflection. So let's have a look at the prices. 575, 565. Very interesting, guys. That's 10 million less than, maybe 5 million less than last week, 10 million less than 2 weeks ago. So yeah, GTAP prices for Plex a bit lower. Pretty interesting. I thought that 585 would be the bottom. Seems I might have been wrong on that. It's already 10 million below that. I find this an interesting development in the Plex market, one I didn't expect. It's for me personally, I'm going to keep an eye on it, see if this continues, and at the first sign of an upswing I might pick a few up for myself. Anyways, there you go guys, a quick look at the EVE Online markets. I hope everyone has fun with their gifts, and I will see you all next time.